Ms. Kirkmeyer, your question for Ms. Caraveo.
Sure. In 2021, you signed a letter along with several other state legislators to President Biden and Speaker Pelosi that basically said you thought we should divest funding with regard to ICE. So in other words, defund ICE and defund the Border Patrol. So I want to know, with regard to defunding ICE and Border Patrol, if you actually think that's a way to secure the border and stop the flow of fentanyl, the dangerous poison that is trafficking across our state border, across our United States border, and would you support that still, where you would defund ICE and defund Border Patrol?
I would not defund either of those agencies. I believe that what we do need to do is invest in 21st century technologies that make sure that we are keeping criminals and drugs from crossing our border, and still looking at comprehensive immigration control that makes sure that communities like mine, the one I grew up in with both of my parents being immigrants, are given the opportunity to legalize their status like my parents were, so that we acknowledge that 11 million Americans who have contributed taxes, who have contributed to our economy, who are parts of our community, have a way to legalize their status.
So you just changed your mind in the last year? Because
a
year ago you wrote a letter to President Biden that said we should defund ICE and defund Border Patrol.
I do not believe.
In other words, not securing the border.
Are you going to let me speak? Yeah.
Well, I was finishing up my comments before you interrupted me.
I do not believe in defunding ICE, and I think that there is a lot around immigration control that we need to make sure that we're investing in, something that your party has consistently put roadblocks up against for the growing Latino community.
Thank you both.
So you changed your mind in the last year.